So back to the Cliff Notes. Here's why. I wrote an article and I was talking about Trump's ego, and someone was really mad at me, and it took me about 3 minutes to realize, oh wait, they think ego is a bad word. They have no idea what I'm talking about. They hear me say Trump has a powerful ego, and they think that means that's bad, that I'm insulting him. That's not what I mean at all. In fact, we'll start with ego. Your ego is your force field. Like if you're in a plane or if you're in a spaceship, let's pretend like space is real. Your egoic force field that's your ego. You need that. That needs to be very powerful. The stronger that is, the better you're going to take enemy fire. The better you can take enemy fire, the more empathic you can be. Why? Because you're not threatened. It would take a lot more to threaten you. The larger your ego, the less threat, the more threat is required before you start to break, before it can penetrate inside of you. The notion of ego being a bad thing is something. It's on purpose. Basically, someone is take a screwdriver and poked it into your sack, and you were leaking sand 24/7. And these are expressions like "check your ego, brah," or "that guy's really full of himself," or there's these really key words, key phrases that once you can unwrap, once you lose the mind control, you understand. Oh, wait a minute. He's actually attacking me for being healthy, or that person's actually attacking someone else for being healthy. And so you're going to find yourself wanting to defend ego a lot. Hopefully, you're going to find yourself wanting to do this a lot. You're going to be around other people and you're going to catch them shaming the ego. And if you defend it, if you stick your neck out and defend ego to them in a healthy way, your ego grows. It's amazing. But you're taking flack. What you're doing is you're telling your energy field, hey man, you're important enough for me where I'm going to actually step in and say, I don't think it's the ego's the problem. I think it's this, or I think it's that. Now you have to figure out, well, how can that be? So your ego, and if you've probably heard me say this before, sorry, because I tweet this all the fucking time, but your ego is the source of your morality. It's your source of pride. Pride is actually a good thing. I know it sounds crazy, but it's a good thing. And when you have a strong ego, you have a reputation to defend. You have something to lose. You have something that can happen to something that's precious to you. The most dangerous person in the room is the man with nothing to lose, right? Because when you have nothing to lose, you're willing to go to desperate measures to get what you want. If you have more to lose, you actually become an asset to someone else. You become predictable. Anyone who's predictable is something that other people will naturally consider an asset. They can build off of that predictability. Even if it's good predictability or bad predictability, as long as you're predictable, you can get away with a lot. You'll notice that you might actually know someone who's an asshole, but you accept him in your life because he's predictable. You'll notice that what makes us develop relationships with other people isn't how nice or how mean they are. It's actually how predictable they are. And that's how you get things like, oh, he's an old codger, or he's an asshole, but a lovable asshole, or whatever. They're building a bond because of the predictability of who they are. Taking that back to ego, you're going to need to strengthen that egoic shell. And the only way to do that is you're going to have to start defending the idea that ego is a good thing. You're going to have to pick it up and say, no, this is not a bad word. When you have no ego, you're going to be more prone to lie, to cheat, to steal, and to be sarcastic. You're going to learn that your words are going to not really have any value to them. So you might be more sarcastic all the time, where you're saying the exact opposite of what it is you actually feel. Now, don't get me wrong, sarcasm is a very valuable tool for comedy, But I think as you're starting out, which is this is me, I'm trying very hard to not be sarcastic, because I really want my vocal cords to get used to a fidelity where what they say is exactly what I mean. I want to intend what I say. It's just something I've been working on that's important to me. Once your ego is stronger, you're going to, again, you're going to be more empathic. You're going to be a kinder person. Someone's going to come up to you and start to give you shit, and it's just not going to bother you. In fact, you're going to be able to see through the prana economy. You're going to see them mad at you about something, but actually unwrap and unravel and figure out what it is that's really upsetting me, that what it is that they're actually upset about. Because when you have low ego, you don't actually know. You don't actually know what's upsetting you. And you're surrounded in an insane world that's telling you your ego should be less. And your cries for help, that's what narcissism is. That's what codependency is. These are cries for egoic help. Society tells you, oh, you've got too much ego. This is your problem. You need to drop it down more. Again, you're telling a fish that's been pulled out of the water that he needs to chill out and relax. And maybe after he relaxes, then we can think about talking about going back in the water. But in the meantime, boy, you sure are selfish for flopping around the dock like that. That's really what we're doing. So I've used this analogy before, but it's a lot like you're in your car and you're almost out of gas. That's that feeling 24/7 where you're like, am I going to make it to the gas station? Oh shit, here comes a hill. Oh my gosh, this jerk just pulled out in front of me. He's going really slow. All these build up that palpitation, that uneasy feeling. This is your egoic shell being attacked. In fact, when you feel shame, when you feel any kind of breach in your ego, it's a really great, awesome self-diagnostic that we forget about, that we don't always remember. Why? Because we're too busy processing, but we shouldn't be feeling that way. When instead, you should be taking that data and going, oh, this is great data. This is really important information. Today, I mentioned an example is my head. I'm balding. I'm losing hair. And sometimes people in the comments will say, shut the fuck up, you bald fuck, or whatever. And it's although that there are times when that hurts me, and then there are times when I think it's hilarious, where it's like really funny. And there are times when I would want to wear a hat a long time ago, where it was like, oh, I got to wear a hat or this or that, or what was really happening was I have an egoic shield. My egoic shield has a hole in it up here, and there's a breach. It's just like driving around in a car. It's wintertime, it's night, and you're like, why is it so fucking cold? Like, holy shit, it's like really cold. Why is this car? I've got the heat on and it's freaking cold. And the whole time the back window's been down. You just didn't realize it. And you're not going to see it because you're going to get lost in the fact, well, I don't have hair follicles growing on top of my head. You become the symptom. You get lost in that symptom. This is what all your your body's always telling you this stuff. It's always, if there's a piece of you, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you feel shame, or you feel hatred, or you feel unease, this is like a really brilliant diagnostic tool for your force field. Because some of us protect our force fields in very strong ways in certain areas, maybe too strong, and weaker in other areas. And we need these visual cues to remind us, hey, you're not watching out for the top of your head. Or you're putting way too much strength down here in your belly. Like, stop fortifying your belly. These are all different diagnostic tools that we can use to determine how healthy our egoic shell is. We need more ego, not less. Less ego is slavery, and it's not true to say that more ego equals master, like being the master of slaves, because being the master and being the slave are the same This is the exact same paradigm. This is the exact same codependency here. Golden child, scapegoat, master, slave. I'm talking about sovereignty. And when you have ego, when you have enough ego, you develop a sovereign nucleus. Therefore, you have inside your cell, you have your nucleus. And outside of that, you've got mitochondria, you've got foreign DNA inside your cell, but that's okay because you have your own outer wall. You've got your own egoic shell. And because of that, motor proteins are in there spinning their stuff going, yeah, man, we're a cell. We're a freaking cell. It's your egoic shell is something that is harmonic, as above, so below. Inside your cells can reflect outside your body, your entire shell. I mentioned being tight down here because I've always suffered with eating disorders. I had a vacuum in my solar plexus, and I misinterpreted that as hunger because your solar plexus is right above your stomach. I think that's what most of our overeating is actually caused by. Is there's a your solar plexus, the energy can be twisted and turned around. It can be inverted. This is inversion. And when it's inverted, it's no longer a power center. It becomes a power sucker, and it's a vacuum. And we try and feed that. We try and feed that hole in our chest from the outside in. And food is the easiest way to do that. So we develop our natural dopamine receptors to keep rewarding us for trying to feed. It's like your body's trying to tell you, well, you almost got it. You you threw that ball and you almost got it. You just a little bit lower. Can you try again? But not do that again. And that's what causes you to abuse, because you end up having to evacuate that spot. When you evacuate your body, your egoic shell is gone. It's completely gone. It melts to the floor. This is what near-death experiences do. This is what DMT does. This is what ayahuasca does. This is what John the Baptist did when he almost drowned. When you flatline, you completely lose your egoic shell. If you go in for surgery and they put you under anesthesia, your egoic shell is down. Now, when that power is down, your auric field, your energy body, and I'm going to prove to you this is real. Trust me, I'm going to prove to you this is real. It's all through sensation. I don't see auras. You guys might, but I don't see them, but I sense them. I can feel that. When I have a demon of the balding, when there is a balding demon that's attacking me, that's going, no one will ever accept you because you're bald, or whatever it is, that is my auric field has a breach in it. And that breach allowed something to come in. And that possession leads to me maybe to buy Rogaine, or to wear a hat, or to shave my head, or to freak out about it, basically, and hate the way I look in the mirror. It's what you're actually witnessing. You got to look at the prana economy underneath that. It's okay, come on. You got to look at the prana economy underneath that, because underneath it is your egoic shell, and it's bleeding. And no one tells you that you have this, but you can feel it. You don't have to see it. You don't have to go to a guru to show it to you. You can feel it. And if you have trouble feeling, just look at yourself in the mirror and start at the top of your head and just move down your body. Move up and down your body. And you'll start to find it. You'll go, but James, you should really drink more water. You should maybe you should shave. You're looking pretty rough there. Or it's I actually feel great now. So yeah, I'm more, I don't know what you guys are going through. I don't even know if anyone's here, because I'm purposely not looking, because it's going to take me out of the mood. Anyway, that's how you refund your egoic field. That's how you find that strength and reemerge. I'm now actually going to look at the chat now, make sure that everything's okay. Okay, we got some yeps in there. We got some. Okay, so not everybody's left. That's great. Okay, so ego is good. It's good. Don't let people tell you oh God, he's got such an ego on him. What that means is that's the fish going, oh, I need some water. Oh, do you have some water? He doesn't have too much water. Okay. His problem is not, look at all the fucking water in that fish's lungs. Or gills. That's not what's happening. It's actually the exact opposite. And the second you see that in someone, you completely shatter the menagerie and you connect with them purely empathically. And holy fuck, that's a lifesaver. Like I can rescue someone in the room by looking at them. There'll be like 16 people and I can look at them only because I understand, oh, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. And if you're not sure, if you ever want to gauge someone, just behold them. That's what you're doing in the mirror, is you're beholding yourself. When you behold someone, you don't feel necessary to fill the room with words. You don't have to go, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. There's nothing wrong with this. It's important to give each other visual cues, especially because we live in the insane world. But I want you to realize something, that when you're going, uh-huh, uh-huh, you're actually not listening as well as you could by just beholding. And when you behold someone, you're going to either make them feel very uncomfortable or very comfortable. Now, try and picture that, but in reverse. In other words, use other people's interactions as a gauge for how comfortable you are with yourself. Use the subway as a dojo for your ego. Use the post office. Use the grocery store. Practice beholding someone without giving them anything. At first, it's going to feel super selfish because you are entitled and obligated to smile and nod your head, or to get out of the way and push your cart over, or to wait for this. I'm not saying be a dick. I'm saying that use the experience to experiment somatically with your environment. Look for opportunities where you feel kind of uncomfortable, and use those uncomfortable feelings to get a sensation about, where is my egoic field in all this? What is it about that leads me to understand something better about myself? And it's weird because as you become full, this is what's so insane about culture. As you become full of yourself, as you become full of yourself, your ego grows. And when it grows, you start to glow. You start to emanate what Thomas Sheridan calls charisma. You are broadcasting energy. That's energy is a magnetic attraction. That attraction is going to be misinterpreted by some people. Some people are going to be maybe sexually attracted to it. Other people are going to be intellectually attracted to it. Everyone is actually, most people are actually going to misunderstand it. And this has to do with, I did a video a few days ago about sigils, and I showed you guys the nature sigils and the corporate sigils. And you know what? I cannot pull this up easy, or else, actually, maybe I could. I don't think I need to, though. Let's pretend that all of us. No. Okay, I'm trying to think of like one that's good for both sexes, because like Playboy is like a perfect example to talk to the guys about. And I can't really think the perfect one for women. Can we all just please pretend that all of us like Apple products, and that all of us think that Apple is like a cool brand? Or maybe remember back when you probably did think that, if you don't think that now. And if you still think that now, great. This still works. When you see that logo, there's an admiration kind of vibe that you get from that. In other words, if you see someone else that has that logo on them. And actually trying not to say the logo, because if you guys hate Apple, it doesn't work. But if you see that logo on them, you might all of a sudden catch yourself assigning certain traits to that person. Like, oh, well, he drives a Mercedes. He must be very well off. Or it happens to me a lot with camping. Like if you go camping with someone has like the raddest freaking backpack or tent. Okay. The feeling that you get when you look at that item is amazingly coming from you. It is actually being siphoned from you. You are seeing, like, if you're a woman, you might say the Prada bag that you see. For me, it's the backpack. You are seeing that bag as super cool, as super, wow, in my ideal life, it would be that. What you're doing is you're physically charging that item. Now you're doing it in your library, which still works, but you're also doing it in the real world. There's leakage happening. Your egoic field has opened the shield and it is sending out torpedoes. And those torpedoes require your energy. They are coming from your engine room, from your core. And they're being sent out and they are pulsing into that logo, into that person, into your hero, into anyone that you see and feel some sort of egoic change in you energetically. So you get confused and you buy that logo and you take it home and you drive that car, or you have that Prada bag, or you have that backpack. And you notice right away, this doesn't do the same charge. You may still really enjoy it, but the charge is different. There's a different kind of charge for this. I had a 1971 Volkswagen van that I used to travel the country. And I'll tell you, it was a big difference owning that car and being outside of that car and not owning it. and there were benefits to both. Let me tell you, I'm really glad that I'm on the outside of that car now. Like, I enjoy those cars so much more now because I'm on the outside and I get to admire them from the outside. I don't have to be the one that's inside, like freaking duct taping a beer can to try and reinstall the exhaust system. Meanwhile, it's 5 o'clock traffic in Kansas City and it's an air-cooled engine. These are different things. And before I had that Volkswagen, all I saw was inside of that vehicle is freedom. Inside of that is the turtle home that lets me become sovereign, which was great. I used that as a magical stair step to get where I was going. But you have to understand, I was charging that vehicle with what I wanted, which made me what? Want it. I had a want. So when you want the logo that makes you feel sophisticated, you are wanting sophistication. Now, you might look at that from saying, well, yeah, it's someone who's desiring sophistication. No shit, James. I'm like, no, you don't understand what I'm saying. You are wanting. You are reeling out sophistication from inside you. You are reeling that out and you're pouring it into a sigil, into an archetype, into a person, into something else. And I'm not saying don't do that. My mom would pour out nourishment into 2 pieces of bread with peanut butter and jelly and wrapping those in saran wrap and placing those in a brown paper bag with an assortment of other fruits. That was a pouring of nourishment into the vessel of bread, into the smeared remnants of protein peanut butter. That lunch had a pranic aura surrounding it that would glow inside of the lockers at lunchtime. At lunchtime, I would know exactly which bag was mine because it glowed mom. It was that kind of prana. We keep forgetting, and I'm going to blame deep space for this. I'm sorry. But because of the bullshit about deep space, we keep forgetting that this is how it works. A Medusa has been ingested into our minds that is causing us to vacate the entire ether and replace it with tiny ball bearings, lifeless ball bearings. And because we're underneath that illusion, we don't see the prana economy as clearly anymore. We don't see the glow of what's truly happening. It becomes something that maybe you never saw it, and that's fine, because the more we look, the less you kind of see. I know that sounds really whatever, but this is another sense. You sense this stuff somatically. And that's why you have to behold. Because if you're always yeah, 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 you're encouraging someone. You're not beholding someone. You're not, it's a different kind of motive. My dog Butter has this skin problem. He's old as fuck, and he's had this skin problem that's really gotten worse in his old age. He's been on antibiotics. He's been on diet changes. He's been on special shampoo. He's been on just seriously a lot of stuff. After I cracked open, after I wrote this, really, there's a chapter in here about placebo. It's really important. It's so important, I should probably tell you about it. I'm under the impression the reason why the antibiotics, the steroid shots, the diet, the reason why none of that works is because I'm not charging it correctly. And that's going to sound okay. So not only is the guy saying ego is important, but now he's saying that he controls the entire universe. So I just want to acknowledge that this tape could probably be used to put me away. It's like, well, clearly he's not. And I still believe this though, and it's because of this placebo chapter. I'm giving my dog brewer's yeast now. I'm just mixing him in there, but I'm doing one thing very different. I would tell you that this is embarrassing, but I'm not even embarrassed by this anymore. I really don't give a shit. I just know what works. And right now, when I put the brewer's yeast in the dog food, I can't just do that. I have to take the silver spoon and say, I am putting brewer's yeast in Butter's food so his skin will not itch. And then I dip the spoon in the brewer's yeast, and then I put the brewer's yeast in the dog food, and then I mix it together. And then when I give the dog the food, I say, this is medicine for your skin. And it's a lot better. My dog still has some problems. But he's like, he gets by now. He's fine. I mean, he's like really old, so he's like always kind of shaking because anyway. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to say. And there's a chapter in here about placebo, and it literally explains how pharmaceuticals have to work really hard to remove the placebo effect from their drug so they can then determine whether or not it even works. What I'm trying to say is that like 95% of the medicine that's happening when you take a pill is placebo. It's a very small percent that actually is affected chemically. It takes a long time for the lab to even determine what they think is actually chemical. and that could all be slipped in through belief. It really could all come in that way. I'm gonna drink some water. Hey guys. Yeah, there you go. Behold, behold. Okay. So, um, going back to the book, because we were going to kind of go through these blueprints. I want to make sure that there's nothing else in here that you don't. Okay. Mutilation. Let's talk about mutilation. The reason why I focused on mutilation in this book is because mutilation is a gateway drug to self-abandonment. When it's okay to mutilate yourself, it becomes sanctioned. You become the ball bearing that I was just talking about. The Medusa sets in, and you start to see yourself as a materialistic object. When you catch yourself biting your fingernails, if you do that, I do that. If you catch yourself chewing on the inside of your mouth, I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. If you catch yourself really mutilating yourself at all, there's a difference between cutting your fingernails and biting your fingernails. It's a profound difference. And doesn't that go back to what I was just saying about stirring the dog food? Because it's the difference of what you're focusing on is what's causing that. And we forget that because we think, oh no, well, James said it has to be the silver toenail clippers. That's why. And you have to make sure you're facing north. And it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with what you're putting into the ritual. It's we keep giving credit to the props on the stage instead of the actors. It's like we're the ones that have the magic. But we live in a society where we teach each other, no, magic comes in pieces of silver. And the reason why magic comes in pieces of silver, I got this one today. I traded it for a book. Look at that. This one even says sovereign on it. It's got this Delaware blue hen that says sovereign on it. This is so cool. I look like a madman from this angle, don't I? You're listening to me. Anyway, this doesn't have magic in the sense of intrinsic. The reason why silver is powerful is because it holds magic. It accepts your prana. Your egoic field is able to charge this. And it lasts for so long that thousands and thousands of years later, that charge is still here. And all of us think this is money. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense because I think I said that perfectly. The reason why money is valuable after thousands of years is because it holds the charge of prana. It holds your belief charge inside of it. It takes it. And that's why I keep telling all my readers and all my watchers and all my tribe, you need frickin' silver, man. I need you to have a round of silver. I need this. You need to have a round of silver. And the reason why you have to have that round of silver is because you need a hard drive. You need a casting hard drive. You're going to have to store this shit in the cloud, man. And this is your cloud. This is your freaking cloud. You're going to upload badass, awesome shit into this cloud. And you're either going to send this away. I drove one of these to New York and I charged the fuck out of that. And I gave it to my buddy Aaron. And it was like a 4 or 5 month charge. It's like, I bet you that when he got that, he's like, oh fuck, this is like really heavy or really hot or whatever. This is why you need silver. And some of you are like, well, what about gold? Hey man, go for it. Get gold. I think gold's awesome. I'm just picking silver because number one, it's got the word silver in it. It's like really cool word. You got silver surfer, you got silver ring, you got silver chair, You got the silver screen of Hollywood. You've got the silver bullet. You've got the silver spoon in your mouth. You've got alkalized silver. See, all of this stuff, man, is charged prana from ancient centuries, like old dudes that drowned a long time ago. We're doing stuff with silver and charging it, you know, like the Atlas, the king of Atlantis, could have been holding this coin and like just totally going on some beautiful wife, you know, while he had it, whatever. He could be charging this with whatever. Sorry, that's like really vulgar. My point is that he's like really just like put in like all this massive, intense energy in it. And here you are, 8,973 years later, according to Byzantines, and you're holding that silver and you're taking that charge. I'm broadcasting it over the internet to 9 badass people that are thinking the same things I am about this and are vibrating in the exact same ways about it and charging this stuff. That's why I need you to like ego. If you don't like ego, you're not going to charge anything around you. And when you don't charge things around you, they dry up, they wither like a plant, like the soil in a plant that you forgot to water. That's what's happening to our entire world because we've lost the technology of belief. I wrote a book about that. I realize that sounds like, holy shit, what a setup. But I swear, this is why I wrote the book, The Technology of Belief. And you really can't read it unless you understand how important ego is. Because ego is your engine core. It's your dilithium crystals, man. It is the juice that powers your ship. You need that stuff bad. You need it really bad. All right. Atheism. Stay away from atheism. Atheism, you know, I don't even want to talk about it. If you're an atheist, I think that you're purposely putting a rubber band around your pee-pee and walking around mad because you can't urinate. Just say that. Cannibalism. The reason why dudes eat other dudes is that's how you own something. Saturn's first child, Tiamat. Saturn wanted his kingdom to reign forever. And he knew that he worked so hard for his kingdom to conquer the world. He wanted that kingdom to survive so hard that he was willing to do more than anyone else was to get it. And so he took his son Tiamat and he chopped him up and he made the rest of his kids eat him. And he did that because the moment those kids ate Tiamat, they became completely evacuated. They inverted. You cross a line in the sand. This is what Joe Rogan does on Fear Factor. This is what Hollywood Satanism is all about. You once you cross a certain threshold, you invert. This is what masochism is, and sadism, the same coin. You've inverted, and the pain becomes a pleasure. It's no different than an oscillation, a pulse, where you're under or you're over the baseline. You're still going to end up producing the same sound, but you're completely fucking inverted now. Cannibalism is a ritual for inversion, the first supper. And I hate to break it to you, but the sacrament is cannibalism. You're literally drinking and eating the flesh and blood of something, and you're doing that for salvation. It's literally the opposite of what cannibalism is actually doing. I don't touch on religion much in mind control, but I do in technology belief. It's a big subject in there. I hope I didn't offend anybody by saying that. That's not my goal, man. My goal is just to put your assemblage point back inside you. And that's so your egoic shell is going to have a focal point, a center point. It's going to have a part in you. When I'm with a a beautiful woman, my assemblage point lowers and it comes down to my pelvis. And I see the world through Muladhara, my base chakra. I see uh, the lusciousness around me. I interpret the world through that. I very into cooking and food and experience. I'm very into music. Then I play and I'm very focused on the tone and the oscillation. When I'm researching, my assemblage point comes all the way up my spine, and I am focused in my head, and I am turned my mind into a stage like I've unrolled my desktop so I can spread shit out. So my assemblage point is up higher now. And so all my energy is focused around this core, my mind palace. The mind palace requires calories. Nothing burns more calories in your body than your brain. Nothing at all, except your brain. It's you're going to move your assemblage point up there. Your heart is the best place to have your assemblage point, and that's probably your waking state of where you want to be. It's just like you can put your assemblage point somewhere, you can create vacuums in places around you, and that's what those egoic fields are. Like I was telling you about the balding of my head, or oh, I feel fat, or oh, I'm gassy, or oh, I hate the way I look from the side. These are all clues about your egoic field, about how it is you feel. The best way to do that is to do what I do when I write, because when I write, I don't know if anything's good or not, and I publish it. And the second I publish it, even if no one's read anything, I instantly know if it sucks or it's good, and then I start to really work on it. It's always better to read my stuff like a day later, because I go through that process. It sucks to be the first person to read my stuff sometimes. It's just kind of a process. I literally rely on you guys around me to pull stuff out of the ether and write it down and cast it. That's kind of why I'm excited about this whole live thing. Okay. Carbon footprint. Most of us think we ended our feet, but man, it'd be cool if I had that graphic. Some of you guys saw me share that, but like you're literally creating electric roots when you step down. And so obviously the world is going to tease you to not do that. It's going to shame you for not doing that. That's the entire reason why there's no carbon footprint. They're trying to cut off your ancestors. This is all about ancestors. If you look at every single migration program, what you're really looking at is someone is severing the roots of the grass. It's making you implant and go somewhere else. And the first thing that happens when you migrate is you develop amnesia. You develop ancestral amnesia. You are not able to connect to your bones, to your genetic bones. And your genetic bones have that hollow resonance pattern that's inside them that makes them vibrate in a certain way. And only your genetic tree vibrates in that way. That's why if you look at the Old Testament, you keep reading how Lord technology says, and do not break those bones. Those bones should remain whole the entire time during Passover. Or he says something like, and we must desecrate the temple with shattered bones. The bones are like really freaking important. They are a resonator. In fact, I'll let you know a secret. I think all of us can levitate. And I think the way we levitate is through oscillations inside our bones. I think that we can hit a resonant frequency by using our brain, by thinking, right? Because you've got 3 rhythms inside your body. You've got your brain, that's a rhythm. You're creating a rhythmic wave in your mind. You've got a heart rhythm, right? You've got a breathing rhythm. These are your 3 different rhythms. And if these 3 rhythms can be resonated together, if they can be harmonically sympathetic, And if you were to hit the right frequency with your bones, you would vibrate like a bumblebee. A bumblebee doesn't fly. You guys know that. Bumblebees don't fly, they levitate, they hover. I think we would hover too if we understand our bones, if we know the frequency of our bones. But so many of us, me included, have amnesia. We have ancestral amnesia. That's why grounding is so important, because we find new bones. We reconnect. Every day we should each be trying to stick our bare feet in the soil. Um, it's important, especially during the winter. We need to remember where we come from. What we claim earth, we claim the soil when we do that. If you go to a field and you take your shoes off and you place your bare foot in that field, you claim that soil. And we've got it so screwed up that some people are going to be like, oh, you can't claim it. That's how you own stuff. That's bad. No, you don't understand. You're completing the circuit. If the ground didn't want you to make that circuit, it would grow a fucking root there. It would move all of its shit out of the way. It'd be like, no, I don't want you creating a circuit here. Where it gives you dirt, it wants your feet. It wants the circuit. It fucking needs you. The second you touch a tree, the second you touch your feet to the soil, it's able to tap into your endocrine system and sense the world through your body. And you don't understand how amazing it is to be a human, because you're a human. Trees are so jealous because they don't get to see what you get to see. Yes, they can sense their world, but they don't have retinas. They don't have the same kind of sensations that we do. They don't have anywhere near the dimension that we have. And don't be getting all arrogant, because now you got to think about blue whales. Because those guys, holy shit, they are literally attached to the Akashic record of the ocean. It's extended through them. They're performing electrical calculations just like you are, just like all of us should be doing. And that requires ego. There's no way you're going to be able to send out any kind of pulses. You know, in sonar, when I was hunting a submarine, I would send out a ping, and that ping would go out to the ocean and bounce off something and come back. When we do this with radar, we used to have to send a radar ping, and that ping would hit a piece of metal and come back, and we'd get a signal. In our world right now, there's so much radio interference that in 1970, we stopped having to send pings out. It was no longer necessary to send out a signal because there was so much fucking noise that it just wasn't necessary. That all you had to do was listen. That you could just listen now to the environment around you. And all the interference would be coming and you'd be able to sense it. You have this exact same ability with your ego, but you've turned it off because you think ego's bad. Or you think it's, well, no, I just don't feel comfortable because of this pants. No, it's just these pants, man. I fucking hate these pants. Every time I try and wear these pants are awful. I freaking hate these pants. Got to get rid of these pants. It's not the pants. And if you tell me, well, no, this literally is because these pants are too short, they're too small, or they're too whatever. And I'm telling you, no, it still isn't the pants, because guess who picked out those pants and put them on? There is still an egoic hole, a breach that's happening. And that breach is going to make you keep those pants. And it's going to make you put them right back in the same thing. For some reason, I want to say parachute pants. All of these things are clues. All of these things are pranic echoes. These are more important than what we tell each other. They're so much more important than the bullshit we hear from each other. Someone got mad at me today, this morning. They were like, why the fucking you're fucking selling a book. And they were like trying to somehow suggest that selling a book was bad. It's like, well, you're buying it through Amazon, or you're supporting the machine somehow, or there's something in it for you because you'll sell a book. And all through there, I'm just like, well, wait a minute. A book's like a lightsaber. Like a book's like fucking beautiful. Like seriously, if man's not supposed to get up in their life and write a book, what the fuck are they supposed to do? Well, like seriously. But instead of me saying that, I was just like, that's not why you're mad at me. Figure it out and get back to me. Like, don't make this the hill you're dying on. Because I had enough ego, I had plenty of generosity to where I couldn't just, like, seriously, I could have, like, killed him with that and been like, well, books are great and this is all it is. There was enough generosity there where I could go, he's mad at something else. Maybe he'll tell me. And yeah, he's freaking mad as hell because I reject the globe, because I don't believe in his cosmology. And even that's fine, because my ego was generous enough. I didn't say, well, your cosmology is stupid. All I said instead was, isn't it interesting that my cosmology threatens your cosmology, but your cosmology doesn't threaten mine? Now here we both are talking about cosmology again, but guess what? We're talking about our egoic shields, aren't we? Right? His egoic shield was so low that he didn't even know why he was mad at me. And he picked the worst battle to try and defeat me, which was a guaranteed loss. And because I was generous with him, I'm not trying to get all credit for me because I can definitely be a dick, but because I was generous with him, I was able to give him enough ego of my own because I had plenty. And it wasn't like, oh, I will bestow you of this. It was just like, oh, here, man, here. Oh, you don't have $1 for those fries because your pants are there. Yeah, totally. It was just that easy. And because it felt that easy to him, he was able to take it. And the next thing you know, he's like, dude, you're right. I'm mad at you because of cosmology. And he walked away feeling different about that situation. This isn't about I'm a super nice person. It's not. It's nothing to do with that. I'm not even implying I'm nice. Here's what I'm getting at. When you have enough ego, it's simply just, there's no question about the transaction. It would be very much like a hippopotamus, like flipping out because a bird kept landing on its tooth. Like, you're driving me crazy. Imagine the hippo trying to slam its mouth down fast enough to get that bird. Like, all it would do is fuck himself up. That hippo has enough of an ego to where not only does that bird not bother him, not annoy him, he's created a symbiotic relationship with it. It's a cavity fighter now. It's a flossing after a meal. It's so important that we all find our egos. And when we do, you're going to emanate when you're with someone else. And people are going to like, hey, you make a lot of sense. I might buy your book or whatever. You have to have a better ego. 2 years ago, my ego was fucking shit. And luckily, it was so bad because of the trauma. It was so bad that I didn't have a choice but just to make it better. Like, it was like a blessing. I got shit on in just the right way by just the right amount of people, like across the board. It was like a blessing that everyone kind of fucked me at the same time. Like, not really like on purpose, like, oh, we want to screw this guy, but it was just the way it happened. It was a blessing because I had no choice but to go, I'm going to repair this ego. I'm going to be full of myself from now on. And when someone tells me, hey, why are you so full of yourself? The answer is simple. Are you going to be full of me? Is that how we're supposed to work? Am I supposed to be full of you and you're supposed to be full of me? Am I supposed to crawl out of my cockpit and you're supposed to crawl out of your cockpit, and we're supposed to switch endocrine systems? I'm supposed to try and learn how to drive your stupid automatic when I've got a stick shift over here. Is that what we're supposed to do? Is that what called being generous is now? Where everyone just gets to step into anyone else's cars, which means anyone who's left drinks around, anyone who smokes in the cab, anyone who listens to country music, anyone who delivers pizzas and still has like a bunch in the back, That's just how we're living now? Because it's impossible to show pride. If we're going to be lacking of self, we're going to have zero pride. And that's the next part of this book, actually, is pride. Pride gets shit on all the time. All we do is, oh, we had too much pride. Pride is the golden reflection of your egoic shell. Those two are the same. I think your egoic shell probably builds first, and then after it grows about 4 inches from your body, you start to develop pride. And pride would be the outer coating, the outer shell that forms. It still lets antigens in. It still sends out proteins. It still sends out receptors. It still has a full makeup, but there's a sheen to it now, a glowing sheen, something that's polishable. And that's beautiful. Pride is literally all of us turning to gold. We start out as lead. We start to phase into silver. We refine ourselves. We get past the food, clothing, shelter, and we start to emanate ego. We start to work on higher things besides hunger. We look at things like truth. We look at, how can I make this place better? How can my pride develop in my land, in my family, in my house, in my job? Our egoic field gets larger. It gets so large that it ends up with other people inside it. And that's what's called a family. A family is something that has a strong enough egoic shield that there's room for more than one person. And a father, well, a mother, okay, I'm not trying to be sexist. Like, a mother is like an egoic minivan. She's got the most room. And the father's like an egoic pickup truck. And that fucker can haul a lot of shit, man. You can put a lot of stuff in the back of him. And these are our egoic vehicles. So why the fuck do we want it to be like a Yugo? You know, oh, you got too many cylinders in your ego. You need to fucking cut that shit out. It's the exact opposite, man. Exact opposite. And when we have a strong enough ego, when all of us are sheening, we turn from silver to gold. We become gold. And when you're gold, your egoic shield is so big that it takes over and it starts to include your community, your airspace. You start claiming your airspace. You start claiming not just the soil, but the roots underneath the soil. You're gold now. You can be seen for miles and miles. And why? Because massive, badass wizards and giants from hundreds of thousands of years ago charged this gold with their own belief. And it's still in there like a battery. The alchemy is still inside of that coin. And it's glowing. You are glowing gold. You are your government. You are your neighborhood. You are your city council. You're reinvigorating the soil around you. And imagine what it feels like to be a field and have somebody who's charged with gold take its shoes off and walk out in the middle of that field and claim it one day. Like, imagine how amazing that field's going to feel. Like, wow, you remember that gold guy? Oh, God, I sure do. Man, that dude was fucking amazing. And it lasts. I won't say forever because I don't know. Just like I always bitch about trauma echoes, there's also prana echoes. There are echoes of wisdom all around. And when you turn yourself to gold, when you start in without alchemy and you start to do that, you're broadcasting that. You are the oscillation. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if anybody's still here. We got some people still watching. Okay. Next thing. Hey, if you guys want me to talk about a certain thing or ask a certain question, that's cool too. Otherwise, I'm just gonna kind of keep doing this. Okay. NASA, they're not doing that just to fuck with you. The reason why NASA is there, it's very important. It's like crucial. If they didn't have that, your beliefs would not have a corral to stay in. By them stretching out space and telling you that it goes on forever, it is actually a vacuum for your belief, for your sense of amazement, for your sense of wonder, and for your reaching to God. You're actually having to reach into a vacuum, not a plasma, a vacuum that's forever shrinking, that no sound can escape from, which means you can't talk to God. Your voice literally cannot travel, and you're shrinking faster than the speed of light in a universe that's growing faster than the speed of light. So it's literally the perfect like X-Men trap. You know, if you see like an X-Men movie and they kept Magneto inside of a cave hung from the ceiling, suspended in air by a vacuum lock. It's that. It's what X-Men did to him is what they wanted to put your soul in. And when you're stuck in that prison, your belief gets desaturated. It becomes, it gets thinned out. It has to go a lot farther before you can find where to put it. That's why they're always telling you amazing stories instead of just what it really is. If they tell you it rains diamonds on Neptune, you're going to be walking around for weeks going, fuck, man, it rains diamonds on Neptune. It's amazing. It's like, where's your head at? Oh, it's thinking about diamonds on Neptune. That's a trance. You're fucking gone. It's like walking up to someone in a grocery store and saying, sleep. Here they are in a grocery store, and now you're telling them there is a special kind of pasta that grows muscle tissue and gives you a tan and grows hair on the top of your head. And you're going to be like, well, really? And I'm like, yeah, it's on aisle H. And you're like, where's aisle H? It's like, you don't know where H is? Well, maybe you need to go down to aisle 4 and ask those guys. And you're like, okay, you're gone. NASA is very important because it creates that ceiling. You've got science is the roof, and the floor is religion. It's cutting. This is why it's full of concrete. There's a stone floor. You're cutting off the connection to the soil, and you're cutting off the connection to God. Actually, it's funny because it's a roof, but it's an endless roof because of this freaking Big Bang story. And then your walls around you are culture. Family, that's a wall. Like your obligations, these are like real life obligations you have to. Those are one of the walls is time, like temporal. That is in fact a limitation, but so is peer pressure. So is culture. So is all the times where someone says something that you really don't agree with, but you don't say anything. All those are these different walls around you. Certainly we have to negotiate those. I'm not saying that you need to pick every battle. That doesn't make your ego any stronger. It's a strategic effort. You're going to know what makes your ego stronger. You're going to know what makes it weaker. But when people tell you that you need to lose your ego, probably what it means is you need more of it. So you need to find that prana and power up. I'm not probably won't talk about that, but one day I need to like talk about where do you get prana? Like where does that all come from? I think that's about it. I mean, I could definitely talk a lot more about the book, but I feel like it's kind of boring and dry if I'm just going to be saying that stuff to you. So I think that's probably like pretty good. I'm going to kind of like reading through these comments here. I don't really see any questions, which is totally fine. Oh, How did Khazarians get so much power in Goy culture? Damn, that's a good question. The same way bullies get power in a playground. When you meet a bully, first of all, what makes a bully is they have nothing to lose. And that's why inversion is so important. That's why the Torah was inverted. Oh, how do I explain this? The Torah was inverted before it was written. It really was. You really have to understand how the three religions work. But short answer, trauma. I think that the first people that participate in cannibalism, these are people before Vlad the Impaler, but that's like a really famous one you could think of. You know, he would dip blood in bread and eat that. You're passing that threshold, and the moment you pass that threshold, your kids are fucked. I mean, you're gonna fuck them up even worse, and you're abandoning yourself. That's the Watiko, and therefore you're abandoning your kids, so they end up abandoning themselves more. And that's why evil is a tremor. It's something that grows. Just like goodness can grow, just like powerful families can grow, so can evil families. It's really the exact same math if you think about it. And all that trauma is going to crack someone open eventually. It's just going to take a long ass time before people can realize, you know, exactly how to do that. Sorry, guys. Just trying to. I'm not good at reading and talking at the same time. I feel like I'm kind of boring right now, and so maybe maybe this has been like a really awesome, like first try at this. Um, yeah, it's hard to even talk about Epstein. It's I just wrote an article on that. I wish we'd stop talking about it. I mean, I get why we're talking about it, but it's guys, no one's going to talk about 9/11. No one's going to like. I'm considered a sad fuddy duddy because I'm not all like super excited about Epstein. But man, I've been married to this. I've been sorry, that sounds shitty. I know how this works, man. I know how these lies work. If Trump was truly like, I'm fucking truth king, I mean what I say today, Donald Rumsfeld would have been in jail inauguration 17 minutes after he was inaugurated. And I say 17 minutes because look at how crazy everyone gets with the numerology with Q. Look at how crazy people feed off symbolism despite evidence. And I'm just trying to say that if Trump was a magi that had the ability to call 9/11 truth, that's what he would do. And it's completely wrong to say we have to lie to everybody so that we can get the truth to come out later. That's what really cruel people did to me. And that's what I'm telling you guys. These are cruel people. They purposely find hope's cavities inside of you. And they fucking put their bolts right in there. And once they're hooked in there, you are a fucking slave to that hope. It's no different than when you're gambling and you're like, pretty sure I've got this hand. I'm going to go ahead and put in a little bit more. There's a certain threshold where once you put in a certain amount of chips, you're committed. It's all it would do is hurt to get out now. There comes a time where it's just better just to go, even if I lose everything, I have to at least see if maybe I was right. And that's why poker has something called calling. Like, you can lose the hand. If you fold, you lose the hand, but you don't even get to see if you would have won. There's so much power in that. There's so much power in the lack of reveal. Why do you think Q's anonymous? Why do you think he's not on a fucking open source blockchain? Do you understand how amazing that would have been? If Q would have been, hey, we started the truth blockchain, here it is. We don't want to get shut down, so we're asking anyone who wants to join as a node to go here, truthblockchain.org, and there it is. And just like you would do with Ethereum right now, you could log on and go, yeah, I want to create a node on the freaking truth blockchain. You're like, okay, I'm going to run this server out of my closet or in my bathtub. And here it is. I'm helping the truth right now by broadcasting the thing. And anyone who comes to the truth blockchain would know exactly 100% who Q was, who was pretending to be Q. More importantly, we could make it where we would know who was a fucking robot and who was a human. Because it really helps QAnon not only to be anonymous, but to be on a network where we have no idea who's a human and who's a robot. I don't think you guys realize how much of Twitter and Facebook is robots. Maybe you guys probably do. Sorry, I bet I'm preaching to the choir. It's a lot. It's tons. I first saw it with vaccines. I first started seeing standardized accounts. Please note, this doesn't make me an expert, but I've written robots for many years in software. I used to have to spider like eBay auctions. And in order to do that, I would have to pose as a buyer. During the AIM chatbots, I used to create AIM chatbots for colleges. I swear, guys, I don't just randomly talk about shit. I mean, I do randomly talk about shit, but what I mean is that I only go where I'm comfortable. And I know how these robots work. And it doesn't require this secret underground artificial intelligence. All it has to do is go, hey, James just said something that's very similar to what Sue said yesterday over here. And Sue, when yesterday she said this same thing and someone named Bob commented with this, he got more likes than anyone else. Therefore, I'm going to take Bob's fucking comment and put it inside of me named Ricky, and I'm going to post it to James as a response. And the whole time I'm talking to the Dark Whisper or Nighthawk or QAnon. And you have no fucking idea that not only is it not a person, but it's not even a thought. It's not even an emanation. Because where they stole that tag could have been another robot. And we see this exact same thing happening on the markets now when the markets crash. Because these robots start to adjust to the robots adjusting, to the robots adjusting, to the robots adjusting. This is exactly how the robots are going to eat us. The second you find yourself on the street and you're behind a car that doesn't have a person in it, but it's on the road, only then will you realize, holy fuck. Right now, I am in the same level caliber as a fucking machine. That's how these people see me. That I'm worthy to stand. I'm able to go on the same road as a fucking machine. And I can't control how many machines are there. I can't control how many one person owns. I am stuck behind them. And they're not even a them. They're not even a fucking them. And only then, I think, will people come running to our tribe. You know what I'm talking about. Only then will people come running to us and going, I know what you're saying now. I fucking get it. Because until then, they just don't see it. They honestly think that you're going to find a virgin in a meth trailer park in the middle of fucking Chicago who's never done drugs and never had sex and is just waiting for the right guy to come along. That's the fantasy that you get when you're under Stockholm Syndrome. When you're Patty Hearst in the back of the van and you haven't become Tanya yet, you're still Patty. And you're in the back of the van and all these people are around you and you're like, holy fuck, I'm going to die. And that's 9/11. And then the day after, you're still like, I'm going to die. I haven't died yet. And what happens? Fucking driver gives you an Egg McMuffin. Asks if you want some water. and you have no idea what to do you? You have no fucking idea. And not only that, you're not even thinking about 9/11 anymore. You're sitting there going, should I take some water? I'm really thirsty. Fuck, I haven't had anything to drink in a long time. And then day 3 happens, and you're waking up and you're still doing this. And all of a sudden you notice, you stop. Something awful happens. You're fine. That's what happens. The worst thing possible happens. You're fine. And for the next few weeks, you go around robbing other banks, and you sit in the car the whole time. And you're fine. Then you wake up one day, and you know what? You're not Patty Hearst anymore. You're Tanya. You're Tanya of the Liberation Front, whatever thing. And you're jumping out of the van with a machine gun. You're spraying a mini mall full of bullets because you want to be accepted in the Lord of the Flies. Because you're in that fucking van now. And I'll tell you, this is what I meant earlier when I said, people don't befriend people because they're nice or because they're mean. They befriend them because they're predictable. Because what happens to Patty, when Patty becomes Tanya, what's really happening is that everyone in the van has become predictable to her. She's able to get substance from them. And she the entire time, before Patty becomes Tanya, there's a disassociation in her head where she goes, oh, that dude who gave me the Egg McMuffin, he must really care. And for the next day or two, you're riding around going, he gave me that Egg McMuffin. I bet you at this next heist, he's going to shoot everybody in the fucking head. And we're going to get married and we're going to go to another McDonald's. I mean, who knows? The point is that when you're in shock, you're seeking comfort. Just like when you're thrown in a pit, you're seeking rescue. You become predictable. You're an asset. And as after you've been around in that van for 3 or 4 days, that fantasy that the dude who gave you an Egg McMuffin is secretly on your side. He's been infiltrating this gang for years and years and years. And he needs your help. He needs your help, Patty, to help him capture all the other bad guys. And here's how you're going to help. You need to keep it quiet. And you need to take this machine gun. And you need to fill this mini mall with bullets. And the whole time, Patty's like, I'm the good guy. Not only am I the good guy, but I can trust this guy. Not only did he give me an Egg McMuffin, but he let me hold a gun. I wish I could say that's as bad as it is, but it's not. Because Patty had kids. We're those kids. We are the kids of that. And that's why we're walking around cutting our dicks off, telling everybody that they're too full of themselves. That's why we're going around flogging each other in public, trying to prove who's the more racist, or who's the more xenophobic, or who's the most toxically masculine. That's why we're praising shit like toxic positivity, where we're walking around telling everybody, you know, if you weren't so negative, this world would be a better place. And everybody's patting them on the back for pointing that out. It's like, I know it's kind of a sick analogy, but really, it's like you're in the pit. And some of us are begging the dude at the top, not for rescue, but for lotion. Like, hey, I'd like to put that lotion on my skin now. Could you please pass down some lotion? I want to sell that shit to everyone else down here. And if you watch my Twitter feed, you know that I've coined the term prison toilet wine. That's what these messiahs are selling us right now. They're in the van going, the dude with the egg McMuffin is secretly on your side. And I need you to hold this knife and everything's going to be okay. And those people are at the top of the list. They have the most subscribers. They have the most followers. They sell the most books. They are raking in the cash. And that is why psychopathy is allowed to breed. Because it's fucking profitable. And these people that I go after, the praying medics, I'm not even going to mention them all. But these people that I personally go after, I'm going after, and I'm burning my own reputation. People pull me aside all the time and messenger and say, James, you're making yourself look bad when you're attacking that person. And I know that. I'm trying to make it expensive to lie to us. I wish more people would join in and make it more expensive to lie to everybody around here. Because right now it is so fucking profitable. It is, you could build an entire career off lying to people. Or you can tell them the truth and get yelled at every day. But your bones vibrate when you tell the truth. And when your bones vibrate, people write you and they're like, your bones vibrate. How did you do that? And we're going to vibrate this whole place, man. It's already vibrating. That's why we're here. Anyway, man, I just keep talking. Let's see. Put the lotion in the basket. I appreciate you guys watching. All right, unless someone throws up something, I'm probably gonna sign off. I'm actually gonna put my socks on. Yep, Sather's one of them. Do you realize that? Okay, I'm gonna go off on Sather here a sec. It's actually not even Sather as much as just the whole. Oh, we created Sather. We did that because of toxic positivity. We made Sather because everyone just wanted good news all the time. And that's why you got people like Zero Brain now going, hey man, chemtrails have vitamins. And people are like retweeting that, going, holy shit, it's all good. Chemtrails have vitamins now. It's like, we're responsible for Sather. We're the ones that put that shit up on a pedestal because we applaud it. And when someone who's naive, someone like Sather who has zero egoic field when he started out, had none. And some of you guys are going to be like, no, he's planted by the state. Okay, that's cool too. I honestly don't know. But I approach Sather as he's an innocent victim, just like all the rest of them. He came in with no ego. He's living in a world he believed everything he was told about how shitty ego should be. And what happened? If he told people what they wanted to hear, they told him his ego was good. And they kept fucking feeding him over and over again. And that's what happens to the golden child. See, I was raised a scapegoat. I had it lucky because when you're a scapegoat, it's anyway, it's I'm not even gonna say it's lucky. It actually sucks. It's both are, if you're on the pedestal or if you're thrown in the basement, these are both the exact same kind of mind control. It doesn't look like it, but they're exactly the same. Because when you're on a pedestal, you're being abandoned. And when you're in the pit, you're being abandoned. And it's the abandonment that causes the breach. It turns you into the NPC, turns you into the fucking robot. And what happens with Sather is the same thing happened with Trump. When Trump got put into office, There's a picture. Sorry if I was good, I'd pull it up right now. But imagine all these holy dudes with their hands on Trump's back, going, oh, they are chronically feeding him. And as a golden child, you got to understand what that does to your serotonin. You have to understand how powerful that is. These people are treating you like a god. They're calling you a vessel of Christ. They are treating you like a relic, a human relic. And we misunderstand constantly the power of prana from other human beings. And that is a powerful ass prana. And all of us give that to Jordan Sather. As long as he tells us good news, we give it to him. And that's why I get shit all the time, because I bring bad news a lot. And the worst thing that could happen to me is people give me too many compliments. It happens too much right now. And I try and it just makes me feel so good. But it's really bad for me. Like, I notice that it's an effort for me. It's actually gotten easier, but I know it'll get harder. If I'm to be more successful, it will get harder. It was easier earlier because I wasn't doing so well. But now that I've got patrons now, I've got people that believe in me. And I wake up and I'm like, what can I do to prove that these people are right to believe in me? But that prana is it's a debt. There's an obligation that comes with that to deliver. Now, Jordan Sather is going to deliver what he thinks you want to hear. And because he was set up as a good news Messiah, he's going to deliver more good news. Hopefully, I've set up with you guys that I'm not a good news Messiah. I hope enough of you guys have been with me enough where you already get that. You're like, no, if I wanted a good news Messiah, I would watch Jordan Sather. And you guys, you're watching me right now. It's a different feed. It's a different oscillation. But still the exact same danger would happen if I was to ever be put on a pedestal like that. And I am in certain ways, and certain compliments I get. Some people say things, people tell me that I changed their life. That's really powerful. And if thousands of people were to tell me I would change their life, I would feel obligated to keep changing people's lives. And I think it's naive for me to tell you, oh, I would be able to handle that. I would have a big enough spine where I could be strong enough where I would turn. And that's what people are expecting out of Trump. Like, oh, no, he's able to withstand all that. In Zionism, he's able to give away his daughter. He's able to have all his kids convert. He's able to marry an ex-blackmailer. He's able, and it's all that's okay, James, because when the time's right, he's going to pull out the sword. He's going to fucking kill the beast. He's going to kill the Leviathan. And I think the confusion is that you think it's because I don't believe in the power of the human. And it's the exact opposite. It's because I do believe in the power of the human. I understand how powerful belief is. It's so powerful, I wrote a book about it. Belief is the ultimate. It's a mega currency. It's something completely different altogether. It's more than a drug. It's more than mana. This is why they don't have you in a veal cage like a fucking bored animal. This is why you're able to walk around freely. Sort of freely. It's because they need you to sprout enough belief where they can harvest that shit. It's your belief they want. They don't want your soul. They don't want your soul. They want your belief. They want your alchemical mana, the plasma. And the way they get it is they tell you that you don't have it. They tell you that belief doesn't mean shit. And they curse and shame belief. And they tell you, well, belief's for people that don't understand reason. And I'm here to tell you, reason means fucking nothing. Nothing. I'm sorry. It means nothing. All the time you hear two people having a reasonable discussion with each other, all they're doing is justifying their beliefs underneath. I know this for a fact because no matter what here's how I can prove it. I know this for a fact because no matter what you believe, if you experience something different, you instantly change. Belief is everything. It's a living oscillation of plasma inside of you that somehow is able to leave you like a sonar, and you aim that shit. You can aim it in multi directions at the same time. But just like sonar, just like that blip, you're only going to have so much of that signal to give something. I just want you to choose what it is you're giving it to. That's all. I just want you to realize that it's this valuable. This is valuable plasmic prana. And I want you to give it to someone that fucking deserves it. And when Jordan Sather comes on and says, I can't believe how stupid flat earthers are. Even if you think flat earthers are stupid, I need you to realize something. A guy that has millions of followers and made tons of money off the belief in a blue space chicken is making fun of someone that believes that we live on a flat stationary plane because you can observe it outside. And none of that has any reason in it, does it? Because the reasoning would put everybody. This wouldn't be a problem anymore of winning the archetype. No one would make that much money anymore. No one would be so profitable at lying because we'd be beholding each other more. It's like this is a one-way coaxial thing right now because I can't see you. But when I'm quiet, I'm vulnerable. When I behold you, I open up doors. All the pores in my skin are doors. And when I'm quiet and I behold you, all my doors are open. And there's a pulse that happens between us when we do that. And without spelling, check this out. Without words, without spelling, what will we be doing all day but beholding each other? I want you to think about this beholding for a second. I want you to try and picture yourself lying, but doing it through beholding. Like, I think you'll see you can't even fathom it. It's like, it's not even a possibility. It's like trying to play the color 5. Like, what? That's, if you didn't have spelling, you wouldn't have lying. And in technology of belief, I traced all this back to the first Kabbalists, because they created this spell of spelling, this Babel virus of language, which creates a million plastic cups inside your mind, see-through plastic cups dipped in the river. You could see the river from the shore. You could see the current. But when you get in there, it's just nothing but a bunch of fucking plastic cups. How is a fish going to get through there? How are you going to navigate through that with all these fucking words around? All of our power is not in spelling. A lot of people think that creation is by the word, that we spoke the word and things were created. And I don't think that's it at all. I think this is an oscillation technology. The words are what take us away from the oscillation. The words actually pull us out of beholding each other. I think that's why when a couple has sex and they're quiet, there's more of that. But even then, so much of the sex is about doing something. It's like, I'm going to touch your nipples now. I'm going to do this. There's beholding. Such a rare fucking act. And when you behold, you see right through everyone's pores. The first thing you'll see is they're not beholding me. Like that'll be the first thing you'll see. And if you hold that, you're going to send that out to them. You're going to send the beholdingness of, I'm beholding that you're not beholding me. It's if you don't say it though, they're going to be able to empathically see that this isn't you attacking them. This is you asking them to open. Why? Because the oscillation underneath is the truth. The words that you're going to say are going to fuck it all up. It's going to allow the projection to spring up. It's going to allow all that bullshit that stops us from loving each other, that puts that distance between all of us. And the longer we go on not beholding each other, the more uncomfortable it is to suddenly start to behold each other. It's like we don't even do that. Imagine going into a class when you're little and learning about somatics and beholding. Like, imagine what that would be like. A class where they just talk about the prana economy and people just experience energy with each other. What I would do is I would give everybody a dial, like a dead man switch dial, where if you let go, it returns to zero. But if you hold it either up or down, you're saying, I feel open or I feel closed, or I feel good or I feel bad. And if you could hold that device behind your back, this is what I would do at this campground that I'm going to build. This is what I would do there. We would have these devices and we would have this somatic school where we would pair up. And this device would be a sort of a report card, not just for ourselves, but for our own telepathy. In other words, what if when both devices were in the same location, there was some sort of feedback that would give you the idea, oh, we're feeling the same. And then if we were to feel the same for longer, what would that do to the energy? How would the beholding change through that? How could you learn about your own somatics by having an experience like that? And as you review, you can go back and you could see, how come I felt so closed around Susan, but super open around Dave? Like, what was that all about? And then you get to go back to your own egoic force field, because we're not treating it like a terrible thing anymore, are we? We're instead we're nurturing it. We're treating it like a used car that we bought, in the sense of, not you. What I mean by used car is like, here's this thing we now have. This is our first car. We're gonna take our ego for a spin. Oh, my ego needs new tires. It needs an oil change. It needs new transmission. And through beholding each other at a young age, I would imagine that psychopathy would become really difficult. Like, I picture, thanks for listening to me. This is weird. I picture someone from today, like Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court, but picture a modern person today going back into an Indian village somatically. And when they first walk in, the average person would walk in and be like, and just be smiling all the time, like showing their teeth. But what we call that is smiling. We have a society that sends the idea that, well, everyone should be smiling. I'm not saying smiling's bad, by the way. There's a lot of power with the face, but hear what I'm saying. there's a deceit that comes with holding that pose in your face. I think the reason why no one was smiling in the old days, they say, well, it's because the flash took too long. That's total bullshit. The flash powder took like 3 seconds tops. If it was 3, depends. Like sometimes it was a lot shorter. I know it was no more than 3 seconds. So this bullshit about, well, they couldn't hold their smile that long. That's just totally a lie. And this idea that, well, their teeth were so bad because we didn't have fluoride. It's like, no, that's not it. Us didn't have the same kind of shit that we eat now. Anyway, off topic. Point is that I would imagine if you were to walk into an Indian village and all you were doing is smiling, you would freak them out. They wouldn't like that because you're not beholding to them. You're fronting. You're fronting to them. And if you're fronting, what you're really doing is telling everyone, fuck off. You're really telling everyone, fuck off. I'm not going to tell you. It's a secret. I have a secret society of one, and my mood is my secret. All it does is spread. That becomes contagious. Because when you're trying to emote and you're hiding something, you're going to start hiding something because you're beholding someone else hiding something. And that was the first sin. The first sin was a secret. The first sin was a lie. The very first black magic spell was lying. Because the second you start a lie, you stop beholding. You stop emoting. A portion of your egoic shell turns hard and is no longer accepting any incoming shuttle, any incoming messages are being thwarted by the hardened shell in that place. And the receiver has no choice but to raise up their own. Without spelling, we wouldn't be able to create the lie. Without the lie, we wouldn't create the false shell. Without the false shell, we wouldn't have a profit center for psychopathy. That's why at the campground that's why the fire is so important. The fire is, it's melting everyone's shell in the right way in just the right amount, where all of us can come through, where we can emote and behold each other. And you can't have a fire with more than 100 people, which means you can't centralize it. Because that's what these guys want to do, is centralize. That's their only goal. They don't want to enslave you as much as they want to centralize you. Once they centralize you, you're fucked, man. All right. I know, Ben. The first person that figured out how to lie was a freaking, like, just living large. Like, I think the first lie was probably something like, hey, angels, come here. God said that he doesn't want anyone coming in here. And that was Adam. Adam told the first lie to the angels. And he said, I need you to tell everyone out here that no one can get in, that they're not worthy, that this is a VIP section. That's all. That's your only lie. That's all I need you to do. And the angels didn't even have to lie. They didn't know. They were just following orders. Why? Because Adam said, God told me to tell you to guard this. Don't let anyone in. They're like, okay, well, God said that. He must have said that. So why would Adam do that? Because now he's got the entire world convinced they're broken. He's got the entire world convinced that they're in a pit, that they've been cast out into a pit where lotion is let down on a rope in a basket. And you can sell that for fucking toilet wine. Call it hope. Put it in a bottle. Imagine drinking lotion in the bottom of a pit, having someone telling you it's hope. That is Jordan Sather. That is Corey Good. That is David fucking Wilcox. That is Praying Medic. That is QAnon. That is Joe M. That is Amazing Polly. That is Martin Geddes. There's all these motherfuckers that are sleeping better at night off your prana because they told you what the fuck you wanted to hear while they ignore what they don't want to hear. These people know a concrete truck is coming and it's going to dump more than lotion down this hole. They fucking know it. Doesn't matter because they don't have a big enough ego to have enough respect for themselves to have to build a reputation, to not want to lose that. That's why it's so easy to lie when you're an anonymous fucking letter in the alphabet. And it shows all of us how weak our ego is when we're willing to be the Tanya in the back of the van going, "He gave me an Egg McMuffin." That's all it took. All it fucking took was an Egg McMuffin. It'd be harder. You'd have to take him to Crackle Barrel and get him like the whole buffet if they had a longer ego, if they had a stronger egoic shell, if they were taught how important that is. But we're taught the opposite to make this happen, to make all this susceptible. It's profitable now. As long as it's profitable, it's going to keep happening. As long as it's profitable, these people are going to keep growing. They're just going to get huge. Anyway, I hope you guys aren't like, he spoke a lot of shit about some people. Actually, I'm not, because you should give me shit for it if that's how you feel. You should. I'm going to keep doing it though, because I want it to be expensive. I want these people to have to go, man, maybe I should tweet that article about how Bannon's Q. Or maybe this article about how Trump filmed this Serta commercial where about 9/11. Maybe I should release that. Maybe I should take the hit if people are going to call me a Debbie Downer or whatever. Maybe it's worth it. See, if people like me aren't out there throwing fucking tomatoes, because that's what I'm doing, they're just going to keep doing it. And what sucks is the people around me look at me like, how dare you throw that tomato? And I'm like, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare me? You should be throwing these tomatoes too. But that sounds crazy. That sounds like some dude that talks to his dog food, right? As he stores in the brewer's yeast. But you hear him barking, right? You can hear Butter. He's barking his ass off right now. Not because of skin. Dude's happy. Might not seem like it, but he's actually pretty happy. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I don't know. Anybody has anything else? Yeah, I should probably quit anyway. But I really appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, if there's something you didn't enjoy, man, I can really use that feedback right now too, for real. You know, like, oh, you should do this, or you should, you know, seriously, that would really help. You want to tell me about you know, my grooming? That's cool. I should probably do that. Beth asked about coaching. Gosh, she's so good. Beth is such a good thing for me. I kind of helped a guy today. I'm hoping I can release the video of it, but if he's not comfortable with it, you know, I don't want to push him. I've been helping a couple people in private. I don't know if it's something I'm actually going to be good at. In fact, I think it's actually it made me do this tonight, actually, is what it did. I think it might be better anyway, if anyone is interested in that, it's weird for me to say how I could help someone. But if you think that I could help you, this egoic stuff, we would have a session and I would behold you. We would behold each other over Zoom. I know it sounds like really racy, but we would behold each other over Zoom, and we would have these egoic tests, if that makes sense. You know, like going through our somatic bodies. Um, Maybe if you guys, I don't know, this is all brand new. So if you guys are into that, you know, it's something we could try. Whatever. But either way, um, it would be great if everyone hit the like button though. That would help because um, I have 4 likes, and I like likes. That it even though I should worry about them right now because I'm trying to get the channel off the ground. I'm probably boring you guys telling you guys about likes. If you want to like it, you'll like it. That's cool. Thanks for listening, and yeah, if you like the chat, you know, maybe I'll do it again. It looks like you do, or else, you know, your attention is really valuable. So the fact that you're still giving it to me does show me that it's worth something. I there's nothing else that you have that I would want more than your attention. Honestly, guys, I can't think of anything more powerful than that. So thank you for joining this fire. And man, this has been a lot of fun. So yeah. Beth says, how do you take her up on your coaching? You gotta contact me somehow. On Twitter, you can send me a private message. On my website, jtrue.com, you can go there and you can hit contact. I bet you can send me a message through here. You know, all other kinds of stuff like that. But yeah. Yeah. So all right, guys. Um, I'll see you guys later. This has been fun. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Please do me a favor. Sorry, I know I said goodbye. Do me a favor. Please think about this ego thing and defend your ego at least once. It doesn't have to be yours. If you catch someone saying something about ego, uh, maybe use that as either a reminder, because that's big, or even say something like, I wonder if maybe ego isn't so bad. And then if they go, what do you mean? Just go, I don't know. Just wonder. That's all you have to do. You're not doing that to convince them. They have nothing to do with it. What you're doing is in public, you're standing up for your ego. And it's been, oh God, you guys don't understand how powerful that is. When you witness to yourself in front of other people, that's so much more powerful. So much of that, it's end up energetically charging you. So by defending your ego in public, you're making you super strong. In fact, the more that someone pushes back on you, what they're really doing is literally pouring that concrete foundation into your egoic shell. They're making you so much stronger by giving you shit for it. Same way someone goes, hey, you bald fucker, you're stupid. You know, if I have enough ego, I can take all that energy from them and use it to build my egoic shell. So really consider doing that. I love you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you. I'm going to hit in and then go over in the chat and just kind of say thanks. And yeah, so make sure no one else has anything to say. Doesn't look like it. All right. You guys are awesome. Bye.